up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener!
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
Oh, man, I am fired up! Woo! You know, today, something actually might get hit with this bat today. Wow, people, welcome to Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for choosing to kick off this sunny day off of the historic Woodward Ave, which is about to be jumping in a couple days with the Woo crew. Chat family, go on ahead and let's run up those likes on this victory show. The Detroit Pistons do something. They break a historic losing streak. They went a long time, since 2007, 2008, since they won their last playoff game, and they did it in going to work fashion. Chauncey Billups was the last Detroit Piston to get a 30 and 10 rebound double-double in the playoff game. And you know what? Your boy Cade Cunningham stepped up. The return of Madison Square Cade. It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network, and Flannel Sam, ball knower, Red Wings correspondent, a veteran of the squad, veteran of the network. Wow, 194, brother. Talk to me.
Well, first off, I have to give credit to one Mr. Terry Foster, because he was one who on our pregame show before our first watch party actually predicted that the Pistons would drop game 1 and win game 2. There's a reason why T-Foss is a legend, because he knows his shit and he has a better feel for this than anybody. But this was great for the Pistons, obviously, and for all of us. And it's weird because I know that I'm known for crashing out a lot, but after the game 1 victory, I kind of felt odd for being so calm, because I understand how playoff basketball works. I understand that tough losses happen, even ones that seem like the worst thing ever at the time. And just to give you a little bit of perspective, because that's what I've tried to do, because, you know, it's been a long time since the Pistons have really played meaningful playoff basketball where we actually think there's a chance. This happens all of the time, even all 3 Pistons championship teams. And I'm not saying this one's going to win, but I'm just using this for perspective. The 89 Pistons, they were down 2-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Bulls. Michael Jordan seemed unstoppable until, of course, the whole Jordan rules thing. In 1990, in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Pistons won in 7 and did not win a single road game in that series. And in the 2004 season, where they were obviously won the championship, they were down 3-2 in the second round to the Nets and won that series in 7. My point is that you're going to lose games. You're going to have moments where you feel really, really disappointed, but it's about winning series. It's about when you start the series on the road, you got to take 1 out of 2, and the Pistons were able to do that. They were able to do that despite shooting 22% from behind the arc, despite Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley combining for 1 of 14 from behind the arc, and Isaiah Stewart didn't play. Playoff wins and losses come in all shapes and sizes. It's okay. Now the Pistons have home court.
Yeah, and they bounced back so well from what went wrong in the fourth quarter in game 1, and they handled it so much better in game 2, both defensively and offensively. It's not going to be perfect, but Cade, this elite ability to really dictate the pace of the game, that was on full display from the start. It was as if Cade said, in the style of his play, we will not lose game 2. As we know, Rasheed Wallace was famous for saying that, but he did not have necessarily the best game. Cade Cunningham stepped out there and absolutely took over Madison Square Garden again. And I told you guys it would get to the point that you start to hear kind of those New York-style cheers for those types of players. And there were moments in that game where you could tell Cade Cunningham had the Madison Square Garden crowd shook. Period. The whole New York Knicks defense was off balance the entire game. OG Anunoby, the cage stopper, not much.
No.
Mitchell Robinson, for everything he did in the first game, not much. Mikal Bridges did some nice things on offense. Defensively, not much.
Got cooked.
Nothing that they threw at Cade Cunningham worked, and that is what should alarm them. This is your worst nightmare, because what they thought was that, oh, they have no Stu, they have no toughness. Whoa. Just because Stu is the heart and soul of the team, or so they called, the rest of these guys are dogs, and that's what these New York Knicks underestimated, and they stepped up after a game one in which I believe they had to get through this, and J.B. Bickerstaff said they had to learn. But when Cade Cunningham, when I saw his press conference, he said, it's just basketball, y'all. I'm ready for game two. It reminded me of, hey, man, I'm going to be here for a while. I'm like, you know what? These guys aren't shook. They know that they let one slip. They know it, and that's why I believe they should be disappointed. J.B. Bickerstaff has primed them up for this all season. He's been pissed when they haven't played to the standard, even in wins, and you could tell that this team from the get-go, the level of grit, the level of hustle, the level of dive on the floor, the things that were missing in the fourth quarter of game one, that was present the entire game. So if shots weren't falling, these guys were getting after it. You think they got punked in the paint this game?
No, they did not. No, they did not.
This team, from a physicality standpoint, they look different. And you know who led that charge from the start of the game? Cade Cunningham. It was as if the Pistons said, we are going to dictate this, and you guys are going to have to try and make comebacks the whole game. And when things got tight, it was Cade Cunningham, and it was we got to shout him out, Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah,
the point guards
man.
carried this Detroit Pistons team on both ends of the court. Because I'm telling you guys, through 2 games, I am really liking the way that Dennis Schroeder makes Jalen Brunson work on the offensive side of the floor.
That's facts, and I know we're gonna get more granular into it on the other side of the break, but Dennis Schroeder is a playoff legend in Detroit for life. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, when the Knicks tied it at 94, when Brunson found Josh Hart for the game-tying dunk, I was a little sad. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying that I didn't think that the Pistons had a chance to go down and score, but at the end of the day, this was a double-digit lead, and the Knicks, credit to them, by the way, made it disappear. But it was Dennis Schroeder who made a clutch 3 with under a minute left. And oh, by the way, he was
the Pistons 3-point shooting last night.
Absolutely. And not to forget about this too. He also clinched the game at the free throw line. And we all know that when you're going to the line up 3, when you miss that first one, I remember being like, oh, come on. But it's big to just gather yourself, calm down, and knock down the free throw to put them ahead by 4. And obviously that was all she wrote from there. So Dennis Schroeder, I hate to be cliche, but that's why he's here. That's why the Pistons brought him in. They needed somebody else who could handle the ball and, as you said, make Jalen Brunson work and make big shots, handle the ball, find a few open players for assists. That was Dennis Schroeder's best game as a Piston. Not even just for the levity of it all, breaking the 17-year postseason winless streak. It was just objectively his efficiency, 20 points on 10 shots, 3 assists. He was phenomenal last night.
You know what? How unbothered did he look all game?
All game.
I remember games playing against Dennis Schroeder, and it was always like, dog, I really dislike this pest. And it just always seemed, whether they're losing, whether they're winning, this guy was always the same level. And now seeing him in a Detroit Pistons uniform, you absolutely realize he's one of those guys that you say, I hate him, but I would love him if he played on my squad. And seeing him here, the way that he's adapted so quickly, the way that he just adapted to his role on a team that won 14 games last season, the way that he just stepped in and said, you know what, this is the brotherhood. I'm a part of the brotherhood. Whatever you guys need me to do, I'm going to do. And when opportunity presented itself for him to step up and offensively, he did that. And to take the charge, to be a part of, you know what, if Asar Thompson gets in trouble, I'm going to go out there and make Jalen Brunson work just as tough as Asar Thompson is. These are the things. When you're talking about that addition at the trade deadline, I got to go back and tip the cap again to Chris Platty when we were talking about our postseason award watch. And he said, well, let's throw Trajan Langdon in there. because that was absolute mastery. To bring in Blackstone, who works the cap and understands the CBA and the aprons and all of that, like the back of his hand. Some of these other teams, you hear the rumors, they still don't know how to really operate within this. They utilized that masterfully and got Schroeder here. And now you get an opportunity to run it back with him at maybe a discount for your organization. Mm-hmm. Like, think about how much this is going to pay positive dividends for this team, and they're not done. They're not satisfied. No. That's what I take away from this. I feel like they walked away from game one knowing, nah, bro, we let them get one. And what we all say, bro, if they could run it back right now, you could just sense that energy. And they weren't rattled. I didn't get the energy that they were like, you know what, oh man, we got to do this, that, and the other. It was just like, nah, man, this is what we do. I feel like if they could say it without it being headline news, they would say, we're the better team. I will say it. The Detroit Pistons are the better team, and the Detroit Pistons should win this series against the New York Knicks.
I mean, now that they have stolen home court advantage, all bets are off. They absolutely can win this series. Detroit's I wouldn't be shocked, and a lot of people might disagree with this. I wouldn't be shocked if the Pistons take both games at LCA. But I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself. I don't want to have them winning game 4 before they even win game 3. But it's just all of what we're saying is just a big, I don't know, concoction of playoff wins come in different shapes and sizes. And just to get to back to this really quick.
I just feel like Pistons will win game 3. My man K had 33 points, 3 personal fouls, 3 assists.
Yep.
Maybe it's an on.
No, Cade was absolutely unbelievable. And I want to get more into him specifically in the next segment. But I just remember thinking to myself after game 1, there were just so much like, oh my goodness, Tobias, Malik, and Tim Hardaway Jr. will never play as well as they were going to play in that game. You really let one slip away, you're screwed. I heard that. There's no Isaiah Stewart. There's no way you're going to win that game. You allowed a 21-0 run. There is no way any team that does anything in the playoffs could ever allow a 21-0 run. I kept hearing all of that. I kept hearing, are you sure Cade's that guy? Are we positive? After his first playoff game ever. I heard that as well. And I also heard, and this is something that maybe even I perpetuated because I predicted the Pistons to win game 1 and lose game 2. You gotta win game 1. There's just no other way. That's the only way that you kind of like pounce on them. But there are other ways. You can lose game 1 and win game 2. But you know what else we also knew? We knew that Cade was going to be better. We knew that Duren was going to be better. We suspected that Cam Payne wouldn't do what he did. Nice goose egg in game 2, by the way. That's what I mean. Playoff wins come in all shapes and sizes. And I'm so happy that we can now say with certainty that the Pistons, they've got home court advantage. They're the favorites right now. I think they're the favorites to win this series.
Yeah, and what did we say? Going back to the regular seasons in these games versus the Knicks, the Pistons have turned the tables. The narrative for this entire restory, even if we were the younger team, supposedly with the young talent, the Knicks would boat race us. It didn't matter where. Tibbs was like, I don't care. Summer league, preseason, regular season. But what did we see this season? It was a reversal of that for these Detroit Pistons, man. And I believe that carrying that confidence over from the regular season and understanding who they are, the toughness, the physicality, playing to that edge, not allowing somebody to out-hustle you, and really seeing yourself, I believe seeing yourself win a game 100-94, that to me, man, it felt like one of those early 2000 and mid-2000 Eastern Conference playoff games where the Detroit Pistons beat teams by putting them in an absolute vice grip. We just saw the Detroit Pistons do that without Isaiah Stewart and with Asar Thompson in foul trouble.
He played 21 minutes.
That's why I keep saying this is a nightmare-type scenario for the New York Knicks because they put everything. One of the most consistent rumors and consistent reports we heard leading up to this series is that the Knicks were putting everything into not allowing Cade to beat them. Not only did he beat you, but he beat you again on your home court, doing it the same way he's done it all season long. Mm-hmm. And we were down some dogs. And we were down to heart and soul. And if you thought that this team was a fold over and that it was just beef stew up here, then you got popped in your mouth. And it's just like, what are you going to do to respond? Because I don't believe you got the dogs. When we're talking about chess pieces for Tibbs, if you're telling me, well, we're scraping the barrel now, we got to rely on Mitchell Robinson and Cam Payne. Like even players said, well, give Mitchell Robinson more minutes. He played the most minutes off the bench. And all the starters got all the other minutes. Where are you going to give him more minutes? Now you're taking your scoring out the game? You see what I'm saying? They're in a pickle right now, and JB Bickerstaff has a really good opportunity to pounce on them and take the kill shot. Like, shout out Steve Carell. It's time to turn it sideways if you're JB Bickerstaff. Sorry, algorithm.
Hey, absolutely. And when we come back, I want to get more specific into Cade because I've got a lot of numbers, as I always do, and of course just the variety at which he was able to pretty much get anything he wanted en route to his playoff coming out party. But before we do that, I want to read this from Money Makin' Mitch. THJ didn't do shit. I'm disappointed. We need him to step up. How about we rephrase? Let's rephrase because Tim Hardaway Jr. was not good. But the Pistons still won, and Tim Hardaway Jr. gave you 0 points. Do you think he's going to do that again? Probably not. Do you think Beasley's going to be 1 of 8 from 3 again, specifically in the next 2 games at LCA? Not a chance in hell. So that's how you should be looking at it.
And those boys were hustling all game. You want them, and they need to shoot their shots.
That's why I specifically said shot threes. I'm not saying that they were useless.
If you're not going to make your shots, which we know when the Pistons are making their shots, they're 115 points per game offensively. They're a top 5 offensive rated team. If you're not going to hit those shots, what do I need you to do? Play defense. The Knicks scored 94 points in a playoff game with 2 MVP candidates. What are we talking about? We do need them to hit the shots, and we can talk all about that. But when you see your team go out there in the playoffs against the Knicks as the underdogs go out there and vice grip another team after they know they let one slip, bro, everybody who contributed to that, especially stepping up, we talk about next man up, they just won their first playoff game, bro, in almost 20 years, Flannel Sam, and they did it through defense and their star player in Cade Cunningham.
Absolutely, they did. But do you know who else is a star?
Shout out Paul Reed. I see you, Mike Hill.
Paul Reed, definitely a star role player in game 2, but that's not who I was referring to. I was referring to Buddy's Pizza, but more on Paul Reed later, I promise.
Hey, Buddy's Pizza. Buddy's Pizza is about to turn up. Buddy's Pizza downtown. You guys want to be there with us this Thursday. NFL Draft Party watch and or NFL Draft Watch Party and Detroit Pistons Playoff Watch Party. It's going down in Detroit. April in the D is live in effect. Shout out to those Tigers as well. Everybody's just winning right now, and it feels good. But Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946. And 79 years later, they have 22 locations in the state of Michigan. And fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards, earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal and save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That is the number 10 MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got Tully, everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
It's Planet Fitness, fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and I'm fired up, boy. I had to go and throw on the victory shades this morning. The Detroit Pistons, just to run it back, they get their first playoff victory since 2007-2008 season, and that's the team that we often say we believe this is the best team since then. And here's another little thing here. Cade Cunningham, 30-point, 10-rebound double-double. First Pistons player to do that since Chauncey Billups in 04, and it's ironic with all the great rebounders we've had in the playoffs that it's 2 point guards that's done this back to back. So shout out to Cade Cunningham for going and putting the Detroit Pistons on his back last night, going out there and proving that he's the best player in this series. And this was always going to be the case. No matter how well we needed him to facilitate, he was going to have to always outduel Jalen Brunson. And I believe that in game one, Jalen Brunson set a little bit of a foundation, a little bit of a blueprint for how those types of players play in the playoffs, how the calls are called, how you play into those ebbs and flows. And in game two, I saw a more confident Cade Cunningham. I saw a team that I do believe spent that day, which they had the shortest turnaround of all of the other playoff teams. They took advantage of that, and they absolutely ran the Knicks. And where you could tell they knew they were tired, they just took advantage. That's what I love so much about Cade Cunningham, starting the game off with effing assist. This is me to the basket. And we saw him finish in a plethora of ways, hit that mid-range. And you know what, KG? I got it in the notes, but you said it first, man. I want you to tell the people as well what you believe this game meant for Cade Cunningham.
No, absolutely. Then let me just start off by saying, have we ever seen Kool-Aid this excited?
No.
The amount of energy in that, I'm fired up, bro. Like, it galvanized me. I'm not going to lie, bro. Like, I'm here. But I said that this type of game that he played last night in the Garden with all the pressure on you going into game two, that was a step to superstardom for Cade Cunningham. And you cannot tell me any different. Without him, they lose this game, flat out. The performance that he went out there and put on, and like I said, everything was on him. We all know he didn't play his best in game one. We all know he had to be better in game two. But he had to do that while not sacrificing who he is as a player, because who he is as a player absolutely like is the heart and soul of this team, as far as like moving the basketball around, making sure other players get theirs, but still being able to go out there and get your own bucket. And we've talked about it. Can Cade take it up to another level? Can Cade take it up another notch? Although he had a great season, and that seemed like a lot to ask at the time. And, you know, I posed the question on a Swisher Brick. Can he be that guy that go out there and maybe averages around 28, 8, and 6? And can he go out there and do that for a whole series? And the type of game he had last night is exactly what I was talking about. He needs to be the leader. Unfortunately, when you are the star, you are expected to do more, even off the season that you had. But for Cade to go out there and just show everybody, like, no, I'm here. Like,
he's taking steps towards superstardom.
Absolutely. And he showed us he showed us a little bit in game one, although it wasn't all the way there. But you can tell once he got his next opportunity, he was going to go out there and ball out, and that's what he did, man. Shout out to Cade Cunningham,
and
bro.
You know what? I love Cade Cunningham as a basketball player. He's been one of my favorite players I've ever doing this type of coverage for prospect breakdown. He's the one that got me excited. When we drafted him number one, I realized we have a superstar, but it wasn't just me. There was a lot of people who knew this is the guy. Even during some of the dark days, many battles fought. One of those guys who stood valiantly behind me holding the sword was one Flannel Sam as it relates to Cade Cunningham. And so I know as it relates to seeing that type of game in this type of spot, as we all believe, that was a step towards superstardom, because you go out there and you dot the New York Knicks in this first round playoff series, and you're going out there putting up your 30+. I'm sorry, man. That's the stuff that stars are made of. Flannel Sam, I already know it felt like a little bit of sweet vindication for you last night, even though the series is not over just yet.
No, but well, speaking of which, and I just want to say this before I get more serious, I know things better than a lot of people know things. And one reason why I'm saying this is because the usual suspects just happened to not be in our chat today, just as I knew that they wouldn't be.
Talk about it.
Marked Royal was swearing up and down, oh, if Cade plays well, I'm going to be right back here, giving him his flowers.
Talk about it.
I haven't seen Marked Royal in the chat yet today. Matthew Kruger.
Get your shit off.
Matthew Kruger. I don't see you in the chat either. And
where they at, though?
Where they at? And that's what I'm talking about. That's where I get so frustrated with people like that, because they're only here when they're trying to diminish or victory lap after a subpar performance. They're not here to also give credit when a credit is due. And I would welcome that, by the way. If either of you just came in and were like, Cade did good, I didn't know if I necessarily foresaw it, but he did it, and I'm happy because for the betterment of the Pistons.
Mark Royal said I'm right.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Okay.
Oh, he popped up. All right.
He said, I'm here. What's up?
All right. Just
I'm sorry, Cade ruined your Pistons win.
Right.
No, but
imagine Cade ruining your Pistons playoff win.
No, yeah. All right. Thank you for proving me wrong, Mark Royal. At least you're here. But you're also less active in the chat than you would have been if the Pistons would have lost, and you can never convince me otherwise. But when it comes to Cade Cunningham, the reason why I wanted to really dedicate a whole segment to him is because he had his playoff coming out party. Game 1 wasn't his best, he'll tell you that. But Game 2, that's where you, like Cade, like a lot of other players, it's time to make up for it, and he did just that. 33 points, 12 rebounds.
Talk about
3 assists, which is lower than you would think, but it didn't matter. 2 steals, while also getting to the free throw line, 6 times for 12 free throws, making 10 of them. He was aggressive all game. It seemed like whenever he would, go on one of his dribble drives, he would either finish or he would get fouled. It was unbelievable.
Responsible
he was
for at least 40% of the Pistons' points, too.
Yeah, because he had a few assists as well, for sure. Yeah, actually, almost 40 exactly.
Yep.
If my calculations are correct, I think he was responsible for exactly 39, the 33 points, and then the 2 dimes to Paul Reed and the alley-oop to Jalen Duren.
Yep.
And those were great as well. But he was just all in his bag, Cade Cunningham. As I mentioned, I actually went back this morning and looked at a highlight video of just how Cade was getting all of his points, and it was just so damn impressive. Obviously, I watched it happen, but I really wanted to hone in just how he was able to do it.
Bro,
and
it was all inside the arc.
It was all inside the arc.
Wherever he wanted inside the arc,
Wherever
he
he
was
wanted.
The Pistons and point paints.
Yeah.
And paint points,
Paint
yes,
points,
yes.
I'm sorry.
But point paints as well, I'm sure. But
Point paints.
hey, but
Same thing.
but like when you just go through the list, his first bucket was a dribble drive finish with a layup over Josh Hart. Then he hit a mid-range. Then he had a dribble drive step back fadeaway. Then he had a transition layup over Mikal Bridges. Then he hit his 1-3 off of a underrated Dennis Schroeder screen, which he set on OG Anunoby.
There's a trend here, I'm going to tell you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a dribble drive around Mikal Bridges near the baseline, which he finished with a reverse layup. There was a difficult fadeaway. This was right before the half in the paint over both Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby to end the half. There was a step back mid-range after going to his left. You saw a spin move through Brunson, who had been switched onto him, in which he finished with a floater in the paint. You saw the most signature play, the transition behind the back dunk, in which he basically just bitched Mikal Bridges, and then a dribble drive layup in which he finishes with a tough layup over OG Anunoby.
I was told he was the Cade stopper.
It was not the Cade stopper. I actually thought that Mikal Bridges was looking worse on Cade than OG Anunoby. But the point is, nobody could stop him that day. He just did everything that he wanted. And even in the fourth quarter, I know if you want to nitpick, some people are going to say he could have done more in the fourth quarter. However, I will say this about Cade. He did draw a couple of huge fouls and made all 4 of his free throws. He also had a big assist to Paul Reed off of a pick and roll, and that huge alley-oop to Jalen Duren to put the Pistons up 4 with just about 2 minutes left. So Cade Cunningham, he played like a superstar. I think he's ascending into full-on superstardom, and the playoffs is really where you make your name, where legends are born, and Cade Cunningham was just the best player in a game in which the Pistons won their first playoff game in 17 years. Take a bow.
And you know what aggravated me? Remember what I said aggravated me in game 1? It was the 8-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio for Jalen Brunson, because that meant that's on our defense just as much as it is on who Jalen Brunson has proven to be as a player. But Cade Cunningham, 12 assists, but 6 turnovers. And in this game, he had to win that battle, and he definitely did. He still put up 5 turnovers, but in the second half, I believe it was just 1 turnover for Cade. So as much as we want to say, well, he needed to do more, there are intrinsic aspects to this game that you have to look at. Sometimes taking better care of the ball and giving your team an actual offensive possession and not giving the Knicks another one, especially quickly in the shot clock, those things matter. And they did that much better in this game, especially in the fourth quarter. Guess who hit the big shots? Guess who hit the big free throws? They had that opportunity because they weren't turning the ball over. And guess what? Guess who led the turnover battle last night between he and Brunson?
Brunson had 6, Cade had 5.
There you go.
And that's huge because like, credit to Brunson throughout the season. He does a really good job of taking care of the ball for the most part. For all of his usage, he's not turnover prone at all. And he showed it in game 1. Credit to him. But if that's a big tell, if you tell me any game in which Brunson has more turnovers than Cade, you can almost guarantee that the Pistons are going to win, because that's the one maybe advantage that Brunson has. He's just very, very tight with his handle in a way that even Cade isn't just yet, but not in game 2. And that's what mattered. And that's why the Pistons are tied, heading back to LCA.
Yeah, and you saw it in that fourth quarter. There were several plays where Jalen Brunson had either wrong read or I think it was one bad turnover that he just kind of dribbled off of his foot. Those things matter. And when you look at this thing the other way, the Detroit Pistons took a little bit better care of the ball. You want to see them do even better coming home, having the jitters gone, having won the game, having the crowd behind you now, and having the crowd to really pick you up, because I know that energy is going to be on one all day long. This thing is going to continue to build and build and build because as Detroit Pistons fans, we haven't had this opportunity realistically with a hopeful playoff series in, 17, 18 years. And it's interesting talking to Anton Wells, who he was a part of all this heckling. He was a part of being outside the hotels and heckling like the Lakers and things like that, the teams that would come and stay just out here outside of our studio here. And it's going to be electric to see them get back to what Dwayne Wade was talking about. He said it's crazy in Detroit. So I already know the fans are going to be on one. And the players have told you this. Whether you think it's cap or not, the players have consistently said, listen, we hear what's going on with the Lions. We hear what's going on with the Tigers. We see how much it's energized these guys. People are following them all around. We want that too. Now they're going to step out there with this thing tied 1-1. Not with this being they're down 0-2, ceremonial, okay, y'all had a good season. We go out there, maybe win one. No, you're coming back with all the fans having extreme hope that this team can really get it done, and it's going to be electric. I believe that it is going to be like the extra man on the court for the Detroit Pistons in this game, especially for Cade Cunningham, who I want to see. We're talking about glazing him, set up that Krispy Kreme.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't pausing that at all. Not at all. The Knicks couldn't. Why should I?
Yeah, no, that's really. Hey, get your shit off, man.
So I'm just saying, like, he's coming back home on his rims with their bounce right now. Hey, oh, man. They play their cards right. I'm confident that this can be a downhill win for them in Game 3.
Man, Kool-Aid, you said it earlier, bro. The first playoff win since 2008.
That's crazy, bro.
Since 2008. Let that sink in, y'all. If y'all don't think this fucking Pistons team is different by now, I don't know what to tell you. And listen, they have not just the fan support, because we all know Detroit going to be crazy. We stand up when it's time. They have all the momentum going into, these 2 games at home. You have everything laid out in front of you to really take control of this series now. Those 2 games are going to be hell for the Knicks, bro. And I hope they ready, and I hope y'all bring y'all lunch pail, because y'all going to have a long fucking night those 2 nights that y'all got to be in LCA fighting not only this Pistons team, but that crowd. That crowd is going to be absolutely electric. I cannot wait. Detroit, make sure y'all show out. Come out, support your boys. Let's stand up. Let's show them how we do it in the D, man. It's been too long. 2008. It's been too fucking long, bro. Oh, my God, it feel good.
Hey, JB, if we have any super chats, but us also, man, just your thoughts on this Pistons win, man. Because I know the series is not done, but we take this game by game. We criticize them pretty, when we had to criticize them. We've talked about the positives. We can talk about the fact that this series is not over and they have more work to do. But for right now, this feels really good. And guess what? We didn't have to be in anybody's head to get the W.
That's a fact.
Johnson.
Hey, JB, real quick, bro. you my mans, and I love you. I love you dearly. that Tobias Harris shit got to stop now. It's over with. You
He's
can
put it in the
it's
playoffs
dead,
now.
bro. This shit is dead now. Like you can no longer say anything derogatory about this man anymore. Big double from him last night, 15 and 13. But go ahead, JB. The floor is yours.
I mean, he did a good job last night. I give him credit for that. I will not
It's dead,
slander this
JB.
man.
That shit dead.
I will not slander this man.
Check it at the door.
I only got to watch the first and second quarter of this matchup. I was out. Trust me, you don't want to know about it. I've had a long 12 hours. It's just been up and down. But from the first quarter, it seemed pretty touch and go just a little bit. Second quarter, they started to gain their ground. And, I got to give credit to where credit is due. Shout out to Cade once again, which I know we're still going to sit here and glaze Cade a lot more than it should be as well. Dennis Schroeder, though, unsung hero. An unsung hero out there as well, too. I gotta say, I was a little nervous that first quarter just because Cat was getting everything. He was getting to the rack a lot, and I was a little nervous of what was going to happen next. But you made adjustments at halftime, and you make sure that everything was going to be okay. And I got to show some respect to them. Shout out to everyone sending in super chats as well. To Burn, $2. He said, "It's the final countdown." I know I chalk with that one. Also, Flannel.
Yes.
Flannel's favorite person out here as well, too. Robert Sloppy Toppenheimer.
Hey, shout out my man.
Cat's a bum. No Isaiah Stewart, and only had 10 points.
JB, I know
4 in the second half.
I know that we have
Soft.
We've got another one to get to down the road, but I think that that's a perfect segue because I want to talk about this defense, and I think that Cat's a big story of it. Tobias Harris, your favorite, is a big story of it, and just overall holding a team in the playoffs to under 100 points in this NBA is
crazy.
You're gonna win almost every game.
I'm glad you said Tobias because I told people, and you can look at some of their sets, even when Tobias and B-Ball Paul were in the game at the same time, who was still defending and hounding Cat when Asar wasn't in there? Tobias.
Yes.
And I was telling people that, I would rather Asar be in the Rome role, especially if you can get Asar and Schroeder minutes together, allow a shooter to hound Jalen Brunson and put Asar in Rome mode, especially if you know that Tobias can handle his own with Karl Anthony Towns.
You know what? I just got to add this one little thing. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you good.
You know what? I'm proud that Tobias Harris took my words that I said, me and Chase, to say, you know what? You were playing a little soft, and you went out there, and you know what? You improved game by game, and you got better. So, you know what, Tobias? You took my words to heart, and you know what? You made it your own.
You see how you influenced the crew, bro?
Man, get it out your system, JB. That shit is dead. It's over with, bro. TH12 playoff. TH12 is here. We dead and all that shit. It's over.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm glad my words
new number, new
could
man.
affect you to play better. Shout out to Tobias.
TH12 has played well enough for the Pistons to be up 2-0. Let's just be quite frank. But speaking of JB Smoove, tell us about merch.
Oh, you said merch? Head over to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. New designs for you every single week. I got to tell you about the ones up here on screen as well, too. Hey, the Tigers got a big win yesterday as well, so you got to congratulate them. And, you should be proud of them as well. And go and get yourself some Woodward Tigers gear at woodwardsportshop.com. We also have the Red Wings, LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies. They are still available for you as well, too. Even though they might have disappointed you this season, they are still your hometown team. Show some love. Head over to woodwardsports.com. All you got to do is click on that shop tab.
Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Sorry, we ain't got a picture right now, but y'all can look at the empty chair. Invisible KG is here to talk to y'all about Mad Packs. Mad Packs is the hottest new cannabis brand, and they are partnering with your boys here at Woodward Sports. You know what that means. I'm going to be high all playoffs long, baby. Y'all know what the fuck it is, man. Mad Packs going to take your game to the next level. High-low is getting you high for the low, because who don't love that? Delivering top-tier quality at unbeatable prices. I see Kool-Aid with the bat. I see you, bro. I see you. Boom, shakalaka. Boom, shakalaka, man. Blizzard packs, THCA, Moon Rocks, whatever you need, they got it right now. Coming to retailers in May of this year, next month. Make sure you stay tuned to Woodward Sports for all the latest updates.
Oh man, dog, I need another one of these victories, dog. Just right here. Please, man, because I see it in the chat too. John with the 199 super chat says LCA is going to be rocking.
Y'all don't even know.
Bring back the intros. I can't wait. Like, Mason's going to be going crazy. LCA is going to be going crazy. We even got the local celebs that come out to already all the regular season games. Think about how crazy it's going to be at this one, man. Detroit, all over the place is going to be electric. If you're not at the game, get yourself to. You see it on the back wall. Buddy's Pizza in downtown Detroit. That's where Woodward Sports will be. Well, some of us will be. And then we also going to have some boots on the ground. Chris Platty and myself will be at LCA getting content, trivia, getting reactions from the fans. We'll be in the press conference, and we're going to bring you guys as good a coverage. Let me just, you know what? I usually get the best Pistons coverage
in the state,
and the best Lions coverage, because the draft is this week, man. April in the D is electric. And just a quick plug on those Tigers, man. Just again, tip the cap to those guys. Wow. But the Detroit Pistons did something last night. When you looked at this 194 win, 30-point, 10-rebound double-double from your point guard, it looked a lot like the going-to-work Pistons. And where does it start? What did J.B. Bickerstaff say? He didn't shy away from it. We've heard other people echo these sentiments, but not many people have actually replicated its results. And most importantly, if you can show spurts in the regular season, cool. But who are you when the bright lights are on and when the pressure is up? And that's where this is awesome to see them respond in the playoffs this way, especially defensively. To hold a team to under 100 points, it was cool to see them do that in the regular season as one of your better teams at holding teams under 100. But now you've brought that into the playoffs, and you made life hell for effectively 2 top 10 MVP candidates. Well, a lot of people believe, no, Cade's just one person. Maybe on offense, and he got a little bit of help, but on defense is where they underestimated. We talked about how in the beginning of the season, I remember I was even talking to you, KG, about the fact that this team looks so much more connected on defense. The help defense is better. The instinct is better. And I do believe that there is a bit of when you're confident and know where to be and know what to do, I think that then you can just play more instinctual and play more confident and play more free. They all stated that they just didn't quite understand. And we saw bad defense, bad help side defense by people like Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren and such. Now you don't see that as much. We've seen Isaiah Stewart this year take a leap defensively. We saw Jalen Duren this year take a leap defensively. We saw Cade Cunningham take a leap defensively. This entire team, and you get guys like Tim Hardaway, who led the team in charges taken, one of the best in the NBA. Malik Beasley, who all season has set the tone for diving on the floor. Ron Holland, who said, listen, they can ask me to do, and I'll do whatever they ask me to do, but I know I'm at least running out there and doing defense and hustling. And that's what we saw last night. Even without their heart and soul on defense, Flannel, Sam, and Beastu, this team proved that DNA is something that's part of all of them. They're not just a one-trick pony as it relates to their toughness.
That was a defensive masterclass. And to be honest, I didn't see this coming without Isaiah Stewart. I predicted the Pistons to win, but I think I had something like 110 to 106, but the Pistons held the Knicks to 94. Are you kidding?
Bro.
And just a couple of numbers, held the Knicks to 42% field goals, 29% from behind the arc. They blocked 4 Knicks shots, by the way, 3 by Duren, and then, of course, that Paul Reed block on Karl Anthony Towns' three-point attempt. That was awesome. Yeah, B-Ball Paul showed up for sure. But honestly, the most important thing was the defense that was played on Karl Anthony Towns, because Karl Anthony Towns, did he play in the second half? For real?
For only a couple buckets.
I mean, but
soft.
like I'm obviously being sarcastic, but he really didn't make an impact on the game. Karl Anthony Towns, 10 points, 6 rebounds. I thought that Tobias Harris did an excellent job on Karl Anthony Towns.
Angel soft.
Absolutely. And Tobias Harris, shout out to him as well. While banging with Cat a lot in the post, he played the most minutes on the Pistons.
Oh my God.
He played the most minutes on the Pistons.
Yeah.
What's going on?
No, I gave a little ad-lib, a little Cat ad-lib.
Like, oh my God. Okay, yeah. Yeah, but for everybody who has been down on Cat and says he's soft and all of that, that was the game. That was the game where everybody could just be like, I told you so. And what did I say before the series? And obviously it doesn't take a basketball savant, which I am not, to foresee this, but I thought Karl Anthony Towns was the key to the whole series. And you saw in game 1, he played great. Shout out to him. He was making all of his tough shots. He was getting rebounds. He was playmaking. He was phenomenal. And the Knicks won. And this game, he was, for all intents and purposes, a ghost. And by the way, to kind of put the knife in when it comes to Karl Anthony Towns, he was also a -10. He had the worst plus-minus on the team. So the Pistons did a great job on Cat, and that was a huge factor in why they were able to get that win.
All that lip shaking and neck gyrating he was doing in game 1. Where was it at in game 2?
Where was it?
Where was it, man?
That boy was tired, man. That boy's bottom lip was shaking the whole time,
But
man.
this is why we call...
Get some electrolytes, Cat.
This is why we call Cat soft, though. And it's not from a standpoint that he can't go out there and get his. Like, we kind of expect that from him. He is one of, the top stars in the NBA. You got to acknowledge that. But over the course of a series, and this is what we were trying to impart before this playoff series started, over the course of maybe 7 games, if you can go out there and just be physical with Karl Anthony Towns, who we know does not like physical on-ball defense, especially if it's being played by a Tobias Harris, Isaiah Stewart, a Jalen Duren. If you can get in his head over a period of time, he's going to make mistakes. Yes, he's going to get his buckets on occasion, but if you can just stay consistent in that, you will be able to make him make mistakes, and that's what you saw last night, bro. He looked gassed. He did.
But that's what we've been
in
calling.
2 games.
That's what we've been calling him. We'll continue to shameless plug that one, man. In articles, when I was doing playoff preview stuff, when we were talking about it, that was one of the recipes. Even like we talked about that last regular season home game between the Pistons and Knicks, where people were like, oh man, well, if we don't win this one, they're not gonna, they weren't faring too well, at least to the level that people wanted to see. They went out there, they turned it on, and they took them out. And what happened though? Cat was doing all this gyrating, dancing, and his
shaking his head and
for
shit.
3 quarters, right? 26 points and all of that, and in the 4th quarter, nothing. And that was the game where the legend of Beef Stew's famous 0 point or 1.6 rebound game, but he put Cat in a vice grip. He put him in his luggage and took him. He's like, look, bro, you're going with me wherever I'm going right now. And that, it was it. He looked gassed. He was tired. And at the end of game 1, what do we say? We were like, yo, even in the 4th quarter of game 1, he was doing some stuff. But we were like, yo, this dude is having to work so much, both offensively and defensively. When the
Yeah.
Pistons go to some of those small ball lineups, Cat's having to chase people around. Especially, Duran's not just sitting around. What did they do when they put him on Duran? Did you remember the first? It was like in the first quarter.
Yep.
They literally tried to put Cat on Duran. He turned, drove him to the basket, and literally power layupped over him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see Cat on Duran after that. I'm being dead serious. They started.
I don't want to guard him.
Different things. I'm just saying, go back and look at that power layup.
He went to Tibbs. I can't do it, Tibbs. I'm sorry. I can't guard him. Okay, he's too strong.
Don't turn me don't turn me back into like a slight.
I know,
Carlton
man.
Towns
We just
defender.
being fans.
I know,
Damn.
I know,
Just
I
let us get our
I
shit
know,
off.
I
You
know,
guys
I
are
know,
going
I
home
know.
to
They won the
Legos.
first time since 08,
I
and I'm allowed
know.
to get my shit off.
I know. I know.
My man Freddie Feld said Cat runs like he didn't wipe his butt before.
I mean,
running.
Sure, you guys are going home to
He's-
play
he-
Legos.
But this is the time to do it, because Karl Anthony Towns did not play well. He did not impact the game. In fact, he impacted it negatively for the Knicks. They probably would have been better off if he didn't show up just for that game, and it happens from a time to time. But I think that if you would have told me before this game, and I think this applies to everyone in this room, if I'm wrong, you guys can correct me, that if you would have told us that the Pistons were to hold Karl Anthony Towns to 10 points and 6 rebounds, I would have been like, Isaiah Stewart.
Right. Yeah.
Isaiah Stewart didn't even play. It was Tobias Harris. It was Jalen Duran on like help side defense. It was Asar Thompson even from a time to time. It was an unbelievable defensive performance. And speaking of defensive performances, how about that job Cade Cunningham did on OG Anunoby?
Locked him up.
OG Anunoby.
You mean Cade is the OG stopper?
He is the OG stopper.
Oh.
What?
What?
OG Anunoby.
Wait a minute. My Neil voice.
He was
Wait
on
a
the court?
minute.
Who guarded Cade last night? Because my man was just looked like he was open for a lot of plays.
Yeah.
I mean,
I heard there was a Cade
Turnstile.
stopper somewhere.
Turnstile defense he
I
played.
saw OG and I saw
Oh.
Mikal Bridges. None of them can stop Cade.
Turnstile Anunoby.
A little bit of Josh Hart too. Nobody can stop Cade.
No, nobody.
Josh
can-
who?
It was funny.
Josh
to see-
Nohart?
He didn't play very well either, by the way.
No.
Josh Nohart.
But that's the thing. They have to. They're really reliant on those role players to get going. And this was something we said in preview of the game as well, that the Detroit Pistons had to get back to making their opponent feel uncomfortable. The Knicks were too comfortable in that first game. The second game, they looked very uncomfortable. Cat, we even talked about OG Anunoby. Thank you for bringing him up. There was that one play late in the fourth quarter where he fouled Cade on a play, and they cut to the break, and they were going to their timeouts, to their huddles, and they put the camera on OG. That boy looked like he was sweating buckets.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, pour water on this man and let him get a break, because Cade Cunningham is running him into the ground. Period. It's just game 2. And their whole team walk around the court like they're tired. All of that energy that they exerted to win game 1, all of that, we talked about it. So I said, look, quick turnaround. Game 2, go out there and gas them.
Yeah.
Go out there and put your shout out to Red, put your foot in their butt, man. It's just, they went out there and they took, in my opinion, we said this, that it would be a close game. I thought it would be a little bit higher scoring. A close game, but one in which you knew, like when you see two players tussling with a ball, and they don't want to let it go, but you're going to see the Pistons just take it away, and you're going to realize, oh, that team is just stronger. Even if there was a little bit of a tussle, that one is just better. And that's what my takeaway was from last night. The Pistons just had to see it happen. And to have that happen on the road against the Knicks, a team that you've already got some confidence in, and a team that you heard all of their scouting report stuff and rumors and reports. If I'm Cade Cunningham walking into this, of course I'm wearing a full, length, salmon-colored trench coat into your arena.
Yeah.
Of course I'm taking it. I didn't steal it. I walked in through the front door.
Got it at the
I
bodega.
already got the key,
Fuck you,
bro.
mean?
I got the key already. That is what it was to me. These guys were worried from the beginning of the season, rather than saying, we're the 3 seed, we're going to impose our will. No, the headlines were, how do we stop the unstoppable Cade? The headlines were, we're not going to let Cade beat us. That's the game you're playing? That's the game you're playing.
He's been beating you all year.
He's been beating you all year, so you better do something different, because he beat you last night. He beat you. As much as we talked about Cade need that extra star, I'm sorry, man. From an offensive standpoint, that man went out there without that extra star and pocketed 2 of them on the other side. And you know what? The Knicks, especially after choking last year away, after investing everything they did in this, Mikal Bridges doesn't come cheap. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't come cheap.
Damn
They
right.
gutted the previous culture of their team for this run. And they got popped in the mouth. And I see them on their heels not able to recover in this series at all, especially if the Pistons continue to run, continue to hustle, continue to play defense. This wasn't like, oh, they peaked. The Pistons have been a top 3 defensive rated team since January 1. And how dare you let Cat and Brunson go off on you like that and all these other players? I think they took that personal, and they responded in game 2, even without these students. And listen, man, that's crazy.
They showed it in game 1 too, bro. The only difference in game 1 was a fluke campaign performance and the fact that you just turned over the ball like crazily in the fourth quarter. That was the biggest difference. But you saw the physical aspect of the Pistons in that first game as well. This is nothing new. They know what they have to prepare for. And as far as stopping Cade, your only chance to beat the Pistons is to blitz Cade. There's no other way to go about it. There's no other thing that Tibbs can figure out. You have to blitz Cade in order to beat him. And guess what? JB Bickerstaff had him ready this time. JB Bickerstaff made sure that Cade was in the right positions. We weren't going to have the same silly turnovers that we had the night before. And you just got to give it up to Cade, bro. He came through and performed, bro. We knew he would. We knew he would.
Talking about some of these other young players, I do got to shout out Jalen Duren. And I know we've talked about him in spots, but that 12 points, 13 rebounds, 3 or 4. What I thought last night was that Jalen Duren played within himself.
Yes.
You especially when you're talking about 4 stocks. I want to see him average 4 stocks a game in this series, no matter how he has to get it, because it means he's been active, he's been instinctual, and he's also helping to erase opportunities for the other team. That's what those stocks mean. So in addition to his points, there's also an opportunity where he took away 3. We know he took away 3, and if there was a block that stayed with the Pistons, that's 4 opportunities away from the Knicks. And Jalen Duren had to be tough. Jalen Duren had to set a tone in the paint physically, because no matter what we want to say about how all the other guys chipped in, Jalen Duren is one of the guys who played a lot of minutes, 37 minutes, down there banging in the paint all game long.
Number 2 minutes?
Well, on this night, Tobias led in minutes. Cade was number 2.
Tobias was the number 2 last night, for sure.
But it goes to show that this team, they all took it personally. They all took the responsibility to say, we have to be better from a physical standpoint. And I do. When you look at just the rebounding numbers in this game overall, the Pistons took it personally. It was the big dogs, Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren, and Cade Cunningham. Tobias, 13 rebounds. Duren, 13 rebounds. Cade, 12 rebounds. Nobody else on the team had more than 5, and that was Asar, who was in foul trouble. When you look over at the Knicks, you want to talk about physicality, who's battling for the boards? Bro, the Knicks don't have anybody in double figures in boards. The highest 2 is Josh Hart with 7 and Mitchell Robinson with 7.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the things that was so impressive, because we talked about in game 1 how the Pistons, at least when you look at how they lost the game and when you look at some of the box score numbers, they didn't really play Piston basketball. But in this game, they out-rebounded the Knicks 48-34. As you said, you had Tobias, Duren, and Cade all in double figures. I mean, Jalen Duren specifically as well. You needed him to have a double-double, and he brought it. And I thought he played really well defensively. And when it comes to the New York Knicks, you definitely needed Duren to out-rebound Karl-Anthony Towns, and Karl-Anthony Towns only got 6 when his season average is 12. That was pretty awesome. But also, how about Cade out-rebounding Josh Hart? That's huge, because Josh Hart averages almost 10 a game.
Yeah.
And Cade averages about 6. But Josh Hart, again, somebody who's a really impactful player, a really nice player, somebody that I would love to have on the Pistons, but in game 1, you saw him really impact it positively, and in game 2, he just honestly, when it comes to the Knicks, I thought they tried to rely on Brunson too much. Not to segue into this, but he was pretty much doing all of the offense for them later on. And when it comes to defensively and all the hustle stats, the Pistons dominated the Knicks. Go ahead.
No, but they're going to have Brunson be the guy, because once again, Karl-Anthony Towns, great player. We all know that. But can he be that guy to carry you over the stretch of a playoff series? We have seen that he cannot.
You hear yourself?
No, it's real. It's real, but listen, they need Jalen Brunson more than they need Karl-Anthony Towns right now, because if he's not stepping up, the Knicks are really, really in trouble.
Preaching is just like, look, for as much as the Pistons don't have the experience, so we don't have anything to go on for a lot of their players, the experience that the Knicks have is that Jalen Brunson largely hasn't been the one to get them over the hump. The experience that you have with Cat, and they're experiencing that right now. These guys, they needed to step up and be the difference makers in that game. When it's 100-94, 2 stars have the opportunity to swing that game, period. and they just didn't. Jalen Brunson, I thought that he did play tough. He battled to get his buckets. A little bit of that flopping. I know a lot of people call
that's
it
just part of his game.
That is a part of his game. You have to expect it. The Pistons are going to have to beat that. I didn't want to talk about the refs. I didn't want to talk about the flopping. Obviously, in the course of the game, you get frustrated and emotional and things of that nature. But overall, this is what the Pistons know. Ethical hooping. This is how you have to go out there and win the game. And they just went out there and did it while the Knicks stars, as the pressure started to build up, Cat not effectively sharing the usage with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson got tired, and he faltered a couple times down the stretch, and they just weren't able to overcome. Then you look at the Pistons on the other side, how huge was it? So we already know they're going to overplay the pick-and-roll game with Jalen Duren because that's the number one lob connection, right? How huge was it, though, that when B-Ball Paul was in, they recognized an opportunity for a couple pick-and-roll layup opportunities where he's effectively wide open at the rim because they weren't playing B-Ball Paul to be the same lob threat as Jalen Duren, which meant off of the K pick and rolls, what do you go back defensively? Trap the hell out of him. Well, what was up with B-Ball Paul? I'm wide open.
Yep.
And it worked. You got to think about those runs during the game. And some people, they say, well, I want K to score more than this time. Listen, what you want your point guard to do, and we saw Chauncey Billups do this a lot, whether he was scoring, whether he was assisting, or whether he was just dictating the game, that's what you want. And Cade Cunningham, as your lead guard, not just your star, but your lead guard, he controlled the pace of that game, especially in the fourth quarter.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It was, and speaking of Paul Reed, you mentioned it. 2 of Cade's 3 assists were to Paul Reed on those pick and rolls. He was absolutely huge. He played 11 very impactful minutes. You absolutely love to see it. Hey, we got Neil Rule in the chat. Shout out. When I was talking about Karl-Anthony Towns in terms of last night.
Hey, shout out to the president.
Yes, in terms of me saying last night, it would have been better off if he wasn't there. Better off if he wasn't there. Would you say Cat was the Javi of the Knicks last night? I have a two.
He gonna get his Javi propaganda off.
I've got 2 responses to that. For one, last night, Karl-Anthony Towns. The reason why I was so harsh on him, as are most Pistons fans right now, is because over the course of the season, he's a 24 a game guy. He gave you 10 last night. He averages 12 rebounds. He gave you 6 last night. He averages 3 assists. He gave you 0 last night. He shoots the ball efficiently. He was 5-11 and 0 from a 3 last night. So for whatever reason, if you want to blame Brunson for being too heliocentric, if you want to give more credit to the Pistons defense, which I am going to choose to do because I saw it happen, Karl-Anthony Towns was neutralized in that game, and he did not play well. And as far as the Javi thing goes, obviously Javi's bad, but Neil, I want to implore you on something, and we can talk about it when you get here in a little bit. Just enjoy Tigers wins,
Thank
please.
you, man. Thank
please.
you, dog.
They've won 4
you.
out of 5 on this series, 3 out of 4 against a divisional opponent, and they just beat the Padres last night with Cater Montero starting. The Tigers are flying right now. Just enjoy it. I understand.
He ain't going nowhere, dog.
I understand Javi had a bad error in Game 4.
Right, let that shit
and that's
go.
fair, but the Tigers are absolutely... You predicted them to go 500, dude, with all due respect. They're, what are they, 14-9 right now?
Yeah. I tried to tell him,
Just
man.
enjoy it. Enjoy it.
I see you, Phil, in the chat. He said, my question is, how do we blow another 10-point lead? You know what?
It's the
Runs
playoffs.
happen in this thing, and when you have those types of special players, you saw the calls start to really pile up in those moments. Even though the Pistons benefited a lot at the free throw line, you saw certain stretches of the game where Jalen Brunson benefited in ways he probably shouldn't have, but it is what it is. When you win that type of game, I'm sorry, that's gutsy. That they didn't give that away. That to me wasn't a blown one.
No.
The other one was because they weren't stopping the Knicks. They weren't taking good shots. They had
Turn
a 5
the ball
second
over. Yeah.
out of bounds play, a 24-second no. And this one, you saw them miss good shots and still battle. And you know what? Something else about Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Something that's key to his offense is the rebounds.
Yeah.
Is getting those offensive putbacks. It is getting the defensive rebound and pushing the break and leaving a team a little off balance. With the Pistons going and battling and taking away those extra opportunities for Karl-Anthony Towns to get a putback or to push the tempo offensively, I do believe that that's keeping them a little off balance.
That was absolutely huge. Karl-Anthony Towns was a complete non-factor on the glass, and this is a guy who really this year during his time with the Knicks had really kind of been in a renaissance as a rebounder, was giving you a 20-point double-double again for averaging that for the first time in a couple of years, but not last night.
But that's
and it was
not him.
huge. Not last night.
Phil did say he asked that question because he didn't have the opportunity to see it, and to a degree, that is a fair question. It's a fair question. You want to see the team if they can put the pedal to the metal, but last night's game was one in particular that it's like when we saw the Pistons win game 2 against the Pacers. That score was like, what, 80-something to 70-something?
Yeah,
like
man.
87, like 83 or something like that. It was one of those types of games where you knew, everyone on social media. It was like after the first Brunson foul that trimmed the lead just a little bit, everyone said, here it comes. From our group chat here at Woodward Sports to social media to the live chat, everyone knows. These things happen, these ebbs and flows, especially based on how you rest certain players. In the Knicks, they take advantage of those things, and they did. They played that stretch well. That's where you're very proud of how the Pistons responded in this game, knowing these are the punches you're going to take in the playoffs, especially, and they responded much better in this game, both defensively and offensively, than they did the first one.
Listen, the Knicks are an experienced playoff team. They were bound to come back. You know, I wasn't really doubting that, but when you watched that game last night, they had full and utter control of this game. I don't think anybody at any point really felt like the Pistons would lose this game.
When it was 94-all, I was a little nervous.
And
I'm not saying
with the way they played, though, you felt like the Pistons were going to pull that one out, as opposed to game one.
More confidence, but I feel you. My heart, bro, was
because we're fans. Like we
can't
always think objectively like that.
No, but I felt way better about this one than game one, because game one you saw it just come off the rails. You saw the signs that it was going to come off the rails.
That one you felt bad for the team while still kicking them in the butt to get it together, because you realize they dropped one. I went into the series believing they had a good opportunity to win both of these games.
They really did, though.
But they dropped one, and I want them to be mad at themselves. Like we've seen, JB has teed this up all season. I wanted them to be pissed at themselves.
They're 1-1 on the road. I can't.
But it's what he's, bro.
I get it.
I get it. After a win over Charlotte, where you can expect your team to really kind of have an off night. It was mad, pounding the table.
I know.
We didn't play to the standard.
I know.
And I think that does drive the team. For us, it's like, dude, I'm getting it. They're 1-1, but I believe they're 1-1 with a chance to really win the series.
Yes,
because of that spirit of being pissed.
That's
keep
fair.
it up.
That's fair. And
keep it up. Blue Chew. What up?
One thing though.
Yes, Draymond,
plug in Blue Chew now.
Really?
One
Kool-Aid here for Blue Chew.
Before we
Pistons about to get 4 wins.
Don't let me find out you actually got Blue Chew. No. Don't let me find out, dog. Holy shit. My bad, Sam. Go ahead, man. You over here talking crazy.
It's all right because I have to say one thing that is probably going to get me the audience to go against me almost 100%. But Kool-Aid, you alluded to it a little bit. Obviously, Jalen Brunson is not an aesthetically pleasing player to watch as somebody like Cade Cunningham. Obviously, he foul baits more than you would like. That one Asar foul on him was egregious. We all know that. But we need to lay off just a little bit. People are acting like he should be sent to Guantanamo or be publicly stoned or hanged because of foul baiting in a basketball game. I know that it's just emotion on social media and whatnot, but I actually...
They have to beat this. Like, I understand what you're saying. This is going to be who he is. We know this. They're not just going to change that. No. And as Cade develops as a star, I'm going to be for with you. Don't change it, because I like the way they were calling the game for Cade. He could have gotten a few more, but
they will adjust to him. They will adjust to him eventually.
And we know we got that guy, and it's almost like as you're going through a game like Street Fighter, they each got their special power, and you know to beat Dawson, that dude has a long reach. It is what it is. And that's where, with Jalen Brunson, you know there's going to be this aspect of foul bait. If we play SGA, you think the refs are not going to give him that type of whistle? When you play Jalen Brunson, you have to expect it. Our job, and JB Bickerstaff's job, is how do you strategize to put your team in a position to win despite that? Because if this team is going to win a playoff series and have hope for more, not just this year but beyond, what's the recipe? They've always have had to overcome in the years that they've won. They've always had to take a step up. The year that they won, people thought that the Nets were the better team.
Yeah.
People thought that the Pacers were a better team. This Pistons team still overcame a lot of adversity and a lot of what the headlines were saying to be able to rise to the occasion, man. I see this team doing that.
Them not getting calls throughout the year was a blessing in disguise. It really was,
Hey.
because they know how to play in a situation like this.
Absolutely, but it makes it even more great when Cade actually gets calls. When
No,
he was
absolutely.
getting aggressive, when
Yeah.
he was getting to the rack, the refs were calling it. And the most important times were in the fourth quarter when Cade knocked down 4 critical free throws. But he also
Becoming a star.
Hey, absolutely.
The league is viewing him as such.
And as they should.
Mike said it's the refs who should be sent to El Salvador.
That's
That's fair.
that's fair. And I understand we don't like it, but just to put one bow on this, and again, nobody's gonna like what I'm about to say. Isn't getting defenders in the air by pump faking kind of a skill?
Yeah,
I'm not saying
absolutely.
that. I'm not saying that like Jalen Brunson isn't annoying AF and that I wasn't frustrated by him, but like I said, it's basketball. It's part of the game.
And we've been seeing it for years. James Harden, I mean, we go through the list of players that have created that style of play. It's just a part of basketball now, unfortunately. We got to deal with it. Jalen Brunson is short as hell. He's going to get calls more times than not. That's why he does it.
Yep. I mean, you're preaching right there, but every time we see these teams at the top start to spam certain aspects like this,
Exactly.
the Detroit Pistons have always been the equalizer. And for the Pistons to know, oh, we can win games even though your star is going to foul bait and get the whistle. Think about how crazy it is to win a game, a close game down the stretch against a team that has Jalen Brunson on it, who gets the whistle. That's crazy. That's a big boy team. We've taken another step, and we beat you like that. Mm-hmm. Now it doesn't matter. Now you get your calls. We're not shaking. If
Yeah.
the whistle's
We
going
take
against
the
us,
refs
we're not
out of it.
shaking.
We taking the refs out of it.
Exactly, and that's what they have to do. And that was something I continued to try and say last night. Yes, there were plays that definitely pissed me off, but I'm like, nope. I can't sit here after this series saying, well, man, but if the refs, that's never going to fly, and that's never going to be how they get it. We knew that the refs were weird way back when we saw the Pistons winning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of the recipe if you're going to get this thing done. And we talked about this with the Lions too. Can you be better than what the refs will do to you? And now the Lions have transcended. Do the refs still screw up? Do the refs still miss holding calls on Aiden, when they're holding Aiden Hutchinson?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Are they still missing face masks and this and that? Yes.
Of course.
But they are still transcending those things. And the Pistons have to do the same. Jalen Brunson is effectively the big bad that's up right now. He's going to get those calls. Can the Pistons be better? And I believe they are.
They won last night, and that's all that really matters. That's how they were better. They got the win. But we probably got a double up.
Mad
double.
over, bro.
Yeah.
Mad.
What we got? Lady Janes and
Dr.
Pierce.
Pierce.
All right.
Hey, at Lady James, we take the try of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, a relaxing scalp massage. My favorite, that hot lather neck shave. Might have a victory one of those today, man.
You and the blue chew?
Nasty.
Nasty. And a hot towel treatment, man. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady James Haircuts for Men. It is wicked awesome. And attention sports fans, which I know all of you are. Don't miss out on expert sports injuries insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big the Energy, that's today, and every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. You guys want to trust the guy that DMAC does. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
And all right, sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or simply chilling at home, Jars Cannabis has you covered. Jars is home to Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products. 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit. So don't fear if you live in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan, because stores are popping up your way very, very soon. If you don't have time to check out all their products in store, you can always look them up online at jarscannabis.com, because I know you want to get high.
Oh, man. Those Detroit Pistons take down the New York Knicks on the road. I'm telling you, people say, man, they stole a game in New York. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They walked in there. They knocked. They were like, hey, we're here. We're here. It's time to get their fig out. They made sure that you guys knew, and they took care of business. 100-94. You talking about putting a Detroit signature on a win. It's no better way to do that than to hold a team under 100 points in the playoffs, who has some scores, who have some three-point shooters, who have the vet experience. And I do believe that it bolsters things very well for the Detroit Pistons heading into Game 3. They get, I guess a little bit of rest for the Pistons, a couple days rest rather than just one day in between games. I know that we already got the alert. There's obviously it's an off day today. They will probably have a little bit of a practice and some walkthroughs tomorrow, then probably another walkthrough on game day. We're going to bring you guys all the footage, so I will be back in the practice arena. And I know that we're going to be corresponding with a lot of the different fan content as well to make sure that everybody that we interact with is represented on all of the different Pistons coverage shows going on here. But Game 3, Detroit Pistons have all the momentum. The Detroit Pistons have now stolen or taken home court advantage away from the New York Knicks. And you got a couple games here at LCA, and it's going to be in front of a raucous crowd. This crowd is already tweaked because Detroit sports is already on this trajectory. And now you're coming home where April in the D is rocking. It's alive. You're probably going to have the Tigers wrapping up a series win. You're going to have the NFL draft and the Detroit Pistons hosting the first meaningful playoff series in Little Caesars Arena ever.
April in the D?
Period.
April in the D. It's going to be absolutely electric. And you know what I expect in Game 3, and we're going to do a full-blown preview later on.
This is just the early preview.
Later on in the week, but something you also saw in Game 2 in which water found its level a bit in the Pistons' favor. How about that bench scoring disparity? 35-8.
That's a good point.
Pistons. We saw in
Wait, say that one more time.
35-8 Pistons.
That's crazy.
We saw in
Crazy
Game
work.
1 Campaign go off.
Fluke.
Something that made me want to pull my hair out, but credit to him for that one game.
Fluke.
You saw, sure. We saw Mitchell Robinson make a major impact in a Game 1. I would say that in Game 1, the Knicks and Pistons bench, they kind of played each other to a draw, which can't happen, by the way. But in Game 2, it certainly was not. Dennis Schroeder was obviously the leader of the pack. Paul Reed gave you some valuable minutes. Malik Beasley didn't even shoot the ball very well, but he contributed in other ways as well. But when it comes to the New York Knicks, who was it? Just Miles McBride, I think, scored 8, but nobody else.
Yeah.
The Knicks have an inferior bench, and I'm glad that the Pistons were able to impose that in Game 2. But I also think in Game 3, you might see more Ron Holland. Who knows what if Isaiah Stewart is going to be healthy. So the Pistons bench wasn't even at its fullest strength, and they completely dominated the Knicks bench.
Absolutely, and I love this, man. I love the energy, man, from the chat right now. Gromit says the Knicks stole a game in New York. I see what you did there. Mitten made. The Pistons walked in, no ski mask, and said, this our house now.
Run
Pistons fan in Indy. I see you, my
Run that.
guy.
Real Detroit
They
shit. Run
kicked
that.
in the door. I
We
don't
in
know
there.
if you guys know who the legend, Pistons fan in Indy. Look him up on socials. I know on X, at Pistons fan in Indy. And this guy has been one of those die-hards going way back. You can go back to the Grant Hill era, and I think the Bad Boys era as well. He has one of the greatest, effectively, Pistons collections I've seen, from memorabilia, signed autographs, and all of that. Thank you for being here, all of you all out there, for supporting us. If you haven't got an opportunity to, go on ahead and run up that like button. And I want to hear you guys' early keys to victory, chat family. for Game 3, this Detroit Pistons team? Who you believe is going to be that X factor? Because I like what you're saying. Ron Holland, with the energy of this crowd in Game 3, could be a factor, and I do believe energy is going to be one of your key factors behind defense for the Pistons getting this going up 2-1 against the New York Knicks in this series.
If I'm going to give an early key, one thing that you saw the Pistons struggle with, and I'm a proponent of something that a lot of people will push back on. I do think when it came to Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr., a lot of it just came down to, and this is a dirty word, shooting luck. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just don't have it. Sometimes you just have open looks all night long and you clang every single one of them, even if your form is good, even if you're, shooting it straight on, sometimes it just doesn't fall. I think at home, because role players stepping up more at home is a real thing. I think I saw this in the group chat from Stick, and shout out to Stick, by the way. It was pointed out in our big Woodward group chat how Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. were a combined 1 of 14 from behind the arc, which is insane that they still won the game. Shout out Pistons.
They shot 22.2% from behind the arc.
Crazy. As a team. Mm-hmm. Stick said in Game 3 it's going to be 6 of 14, and I wholeheartedly agree. I expect them to shoot the 3 ball a lot better, and I think that more than anything will be the biggest key of why they'll win.
Can y'all imagine how rocking LCA is going to be if we get at least 5 shimmies on Thursday?
It's going to be great.
If Beasley's hitting that 3, if we see Ron Holland getting those transition dunks or turning that offense, getting a steal and turning that into offense really quick, if they can actually complete one of these fast break dunks, I don't know how you go another game where Tim Hardaway had a dunk that bounced out and he got fouled. He should have had it, and nope, they're not going to give it. And then Asar Thompson on a fast break, Cade throws a lob up, and they wave it off due to basket interference, even though he got fouled. They did give him a flagrant foul. He did get the free throws, but goodness gracious, it's crazy to see how some of these things can happen. But what's awesome is this. But those are the types of things that in first game we said, well, these things cost them. These things worked against them. Some of these same things happen in Game 2. This team was just better than all of that. And if this is a Pistons team that's not going to allow the normal aspect that cost them in Game 1 to affect them in Game 2, the sky is the limit. They're pushing their ceiling higher. They're proving, you know what? We're above the foul baiting. We're above if you're going to give Jalen Brunson this type of whistle. We're above all of the weird fluky things, and we're going to clean up ever so slightly, because you want to see it better, a lot of the mistakes, the self-inflicted wounds. So they won your point battle, the paint points in the paint battle. That's one of their calling cards. They won a transition battle. Mm-hmm. That's one of their calling cards. And Cade Cunningham is the best player in the series and looked like it. That's one of their calling cards. This is their identity, and they showed it on full display. I believe it overwhelmed the New York Knicks.
And speaking of paint points, which was another one where we all know that the Pistons have really thrived off of that 46-40 advantage. You'd actually probably like that to be even higher in the next game, but that's neither here nor there. But as always, who was the main cause of that? It was Cade Cunningham. Mm-hmm. He was getting almost every point that he got was either in the paint adjacent, or like free throws. And when I mean paint adjacent, I mean like step backs and a mid range.
We got you.
And all 3 of his assists, 2 to Paul Reed and 1 to Jalen Duren, were easy layups or a lob. So paint points. Cade Cunningham has been the driver of the Pistons being an elite paint team all season long.
I hate to be that guy. I think this is a good opportunity to push my Jalen Duren propaganda, because this is what I was trying to tell y'all before the playoffs even started. You can survive a bad shooting night from, in this case, both Tim Hardaway and Malik Beasley. If Duren doesn't go out there and has that stat line that he has, the Pistons lose this game. And I'm just, and this is more so, this ain't just about Duren, like, don't get me wrong, because you need the combination of him and Paul Reed, and that's one of my keys to victory. They have to continue to go out there and just play stifling defense on Cat, box him out in the paint, make him work for everything that he wants, and y'all will come out on top in this, man. But
he was a good number 3 last night behind Schroeder.
And fair enough. Fair enough. I saw you over there looking, but no, fair enough. Tobias Harris took the lead as the number 2. I would not debate that with anybody, but Jalen Duren was just as important, especially with the amount of minutes that he played, almost the whole game, 37 minutes. So that's no slight. JB Bickerstaff really trusts him to go out there, even in foul trouble. He had 5 fouls as well. Even in foul trouble, going out there and still being that source, especially with Beef Stew being down.
Yeah.
The him and Paul Reed connection is so key in this series. It really is.
Because I know we were joking with the Jalen Duren thing, but I just want to ask you guys, because the Pistons had a lot of guys step up. And in this series, just in this game, I guess in this game, who would you say were your top, say, 5 impact players overall? Just for both teams.
For both teams, Cade.
A lot of Pistons.
Cade
Yeah,
would be first.
right. Yeah,
That's
Cade.
crazy.
No, dead serious. Are 4 out of 5 Pistons?
That's
Yeah.
what
the
I'm
top 5
thinking.
players?
Brunson and
Cade,
then
Tobias
Pistons.
Schroeder. And I guess you could throw Duren at the 4. if you want
Brunson
to.
and Duren, yeah.
Yeah.
And you probably put Brunson where in that list?
I mean,
I put
3.
him 5th if you ask me. If you ask me,
Come
because
on.
it wasn't impactful to winning. Jalen Duren's stat line was more impactful to the
Wow.
Pistons' victory than Jalen Brunson.
you know what I love about you,
Duren.
KG? How you can indirectly victory lap a Jalen Duren poor Game 1 performance.
Yeah.
That's basically
But
what you're doing.
I admit it. He came out and had a dud in game 1.
And they lost.
He had to be better. But once again, if he's playing well, this team is going to win more times than not. You need him a lot more than y'all think.
I know we do.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But
Jalen Brunson wasn't the 5th most impactful player in last night's game. He was like as high as he was either 2 or 3 in my opinion. People acting like Jalen Brunson played bad to me makes me lose my effing
they
mind.
didn't
And I
win.
love the Pistons, but Jalen Brunson was not bad.
yeah, nobody said he was bad.
Some people are.
I just said he wasn't impactful.
But the Pistons, they're going to
As
have
impactful.
they're going to have to run that recipe back. If the Pistons continue to run out there and have the top 4 of 5 impact players in this series, they're going to win this series pretty convincingly. And that's what they have to do. It's proving that across the board, because, yeah, we can banter back and forth about who was more impactful for just the Pistons, but then it really starts to show you that really all of these guys, it's Cade and then the rest of them. And the rest of them did their job. When they can step up, and you can see, J.B. Bickerstaff said from the beginning of the season, and we heard the players echo the same sentiment, that J.B. Bickerstaff promises we can be stars in our own lane. Whether we get all the glitz and the glam and the credit out there, we know what they think of us in here when we do what they've asked us to do. And it's led, as the season went on, I remember Stu said, no, bro, it's led to success.
Yeah.
You see what's going on right now. And then that was that video we had where he said, J.B. Bickerstaff, Coach of the Year. It's an awesome thing to see this team, the maturation of this squad, and the fact that I see this team being able to learn on the fly. They're able to take the adjustments on the fly. And to be able to have that with such a young squad, man, the sky in this series is truly the limit.
I see people saying that Brunson was bad. I guess it was his fault that Karl Anthony Towns shit the bed and that Josh Hart didn't do anything and that OG Anunoby was inefficient and Campaign didn't do anything. It was all Jalen Brunson.
No, it wasn't. But Jalen Brunson is once again the playoff superstar performer that they got. In the offseason, they are expecting him to go out there, and he has to overcome that. Unfortunately, that's just the label.
He gave him 37.
But once again, you are relying more on Brunson than you are Cat, because Cat is going to fade at some point, especially when he's being guarded by the people he's being guarded by. That's all I'm saying. They need Jalen Brunson way more than they need Cat.
Dr. D said Brunson has 60 shots in 2 games. That's impactful.
That shows you right there, but he's taking 60 shots between 2 games.
Okay, it wasn't 60
They're relying
shots.
on him.
It wasn't 60 shots. It was like closer to 50 than 60.
But even still, that's a high volume, Sam. That is a high volume of shots.
37.
They are relying on him. He is the first option.
But you know what Jalen Duren does make this interesting is if he continues to put up double-doubles, if he continues to get 4 stocks, if he continues to be efficient shooting the ball, and continues to be a presence in the paint, that does make it tough on Karl Anthony Towns and on these other role players, because those guys, they had to think twice. And some of the layups that they were getting in the first game and some of the little shots and floaters they were getting in the first game, there was just a little bit more traffic, a little bit more, just a little bit more of the hand in the face, a little bit more of the Detroit Pistons stepping up. And it did affect things. And Jalen Duren, if you look back at his game defensively, this was a really good game defensively from him from a standpoint of playing his position and showing himself big, rather than showing himself to be, oh, well, I'm pressed up. Oops, someone went behind me.
Right,
I saw an engaged Jalen Duren, and if he's going to give you that, despite the fact that Jalen Brunson is going to be your number 1 impactful player for the Knicks, If Jalen Duren's going to give you that, he does have the opportunity to contribute to neutralizing what Brunson is giving you. And that's what we saw last night. He's going to have to give you those double-doubles. He's going to have to give you those stocks. And he's going to have to continue to be efficient. And where I'm hoping is that this team is able to crack the code and get back to those lob connections. Because when that Pistons team is flying through the middle, throwing up those lobs off of Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, pick and rolls,
they a
in
different
the half
team.
Court, they're a completely different team.
I keep telling
First
y'all.
game, the role players carried the offense. Second game, Cade Cunningham did. I believe coming home, getting a couple days off, think about how much pressure is off of them. How much pressure it is to say, man, we got to win at least one. They're coming home knowing that they now have home court advantage. Malik Beasley tweeted that out last night. Oh, we took home court advantage. This team knows what's in front of them, and I believe that the comfortability that they're going to have and being ready and prepared for these moments is going to help them because they're supposed to crumble under the bright lights and under the pressure, but JB Bickerstaff has been on them the entire year to the point that it seems like the team is like, oh, snap. JB, why was we going so hard in the regular season? We only had to lift 200 pounds for the playoffs. You had us going 300 the whole season.
Yeah.
Now it feels like it's just clockwork. This looked like a regular season. This looked like a team who had made the playoffs a couple years in a row already last night.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say I got one for you, Sam. Shout out KLXD9 in the chat. Hell of a name. Sam just looking at Brunson's points. LOL. Not efficiency, turnovers, defense, or hindering the offense by hogging.
Okay, defense.
And I wouldn't say hogging because he has.
I was about to
he's
say
their first option.
defense was bad. I'll give you that. We all know that about Jalen Brunson. They hide him on defense, but that's not anything new. I would say though that. Okay, I've got 2 points to this, and nobody's going to like either of them. If Cade Cunningham had a game where he had 37 points on 27 shots, we'd be jerking off under the table. We absolutely would. People saying that it's the most inefficient game they've ever seen are actually brain dead to me. And also, and this isn't me trying to be a Brunson defender. I'm just trying to be fair. Who keyed that fourth quarter comeback? Was it Anunoby? Was it Cat? Was it Hart? No, it was Jalen Brunson making all kinds of tough shots. And also on that, ball hog Jalen Brunson, the tying basket was Brunson getting double team and he dishes it to Josh Hart for an easy dunk. So don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a Brunson defender. It's just that I'm a Pistons fan. I love the Pistons. I love what the Pistons did. Cade outplayed Brunson. Cade's better than Brunson, yada, yada, yada. But I'm not going to just all of a sudden be such a slappy that I'm going to act like Jalen Brunson scored 20 points on 40 shots. No. That's just not true. That's just objectively not true. But anywho, to close it off, fuck Jalen Brunson. If that's what you mean, fuck Jalen Brunson. To wrap it up.
Oh, man. Hey, shout out.
And just to close it off.
Right. Fuck Jalen Brunson. Hey, shout out Grib in the chat. Detroit basketball. Y'all know what it is, man.
Oh man, let's take a quick one and let's get back for everybody's favorite segment, man.
Damn, we're here already?
We
did 3 segments on Pistons and now it's the end of the show.
I mean, hey, we can keep it rolling, man.
Goodness gracious, man. What a game. What a game. What friends are we saying what up though to JB Smooth?
These people, sorry JB. I literally have to say that Jalen Brunson was garbage juice ass juice last night, or else I'm a Brunson knob slobber. Come on, bro. And yes, do I need to do it again? Fuck Jalen Brunson. Fuck Jalen Brunson. Fuck Jalen Brunson. Fuck Jalen Brunson. Am I good?
What about Karl Anthony Towns?
Fuck Karl Anthony Towns. Fuck Karl Anthony Towns. But I've done the whole show talking about how Cat was bad last night. I'm somebody who appreciates him as a player, and 10-6 is beyond unacceptable. And shout out for the Knicks, except for the Pistons, and shout out to the Pistons for doing a great job on him.
Cottonelle.
Absolutely.
Fulton Northern.
Absolutely.
Puffs.
Talking about the stuff we don't buy.
Right. I can't even say he Angel Software Scott because they hard. Like
Myers.
Yeah. The Kroger brand. Not the Kroger
Shout out to the
brand.
Invisible S.
You get them that great value. That great value toilet paper.
You can get them right next to the giggles. Right there on the show.
Pack for the win, bro. That boy lasts like 2 days.
Bro. What the fuck? Oh, man. What a show.
Oh, my God.
Man. Friends, we say what up, though, to JP.
I got to talk about Caesar Sports.
JP over there cracking up, dog.
So you can get them right next to the giggles. Like, what?
You're right.
Snap.
Fucking Kroger brand tissue.
Yeah.
Your butthole sore as hell using that shit. Caesar Sportsbook.
Let me tell you about Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet, and if it doesn't hit, it goes right back into your account. Hey, if you're in New York right now, you bet on the Knicks. Guess what? That 20 is right back in your account to waste again on the Knicks in Game 3
and lose it all.
And lose it all. Scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000, and you know what? Make some money tonight.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Hey, man, shout out to the good people over at Loam Cannabis Company. They sent me that nice good morning text with all they deals, man. Them live resin cartridges, y'all need to get in store and get these, man. But they got some more stuff for you, too. Buzzin', one of they great THC drinks, 7.5 milligrams wrapped in bubbles. It's so good, y'all. Everybody at the network endorses it. Crafted with real fruit juice and no artificial sweeteners. They're big in flavor, low in calories, and for the people like Sam, 100% hangover free. All bubbles, no troubles catching in watermelon, cherry, strawberry, or try one of the new flavors, raspberry lemonade and peach. Crack a can, take a sip, and catch a buzz. They got 38 locations to go get these drinks and everything else weed related that y'all need. So use that code on the screen, WSN30, for 30% off your entire order. That is a great deal. Get in Loom today.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back to this Wake Up Woodward. And we got everyone's best segment on the way. But first, Jerry Alexander with the $9.99 super chat. He says, Brunson is a generational foul baiter. He's close to prime James Harden. I especially like the one when he snaps his head back like he's being shot with a sniper rifle.
That shit is hilarious.
I saw somebody posted that clip of that guy on the trampoline who does like different like headshots and kill shots. And someone said that's Jalen Brunson last night, bro. And I'm be full with you. I laughed for like a good 2 minutes straight.
Yeah, because it's true.
Hey, but let's get to everybody's
Loose
favorite
neck
segment. What's trending? Yes, I've had to bat the entire show.
The entire show.
Why shouldn't I? The Pistons, they swung the big stick last night.
And the Tigers. Shout out to Tigers.
The Tigers, man. Shout out to those Tigers. Let's take it away, JB Smooth.
Before I do that, there are some more super chats to clear up. Shout out to everyone sending them in. $5 from Burn. He said,
shout out.
Knicks fans are being harder on Brunson than we are. They had to sit there and watch their star flop around like Magikarp while Cade was.
They knew what the fuck it was.
Magikarp got me. $5 from Aaron Hammond. He said last night Googled the final score, and actually I had this happen as well too. It said the Pistons won, but it said the score was 94 Knicks, Pistons 0.
Hey,
I think they forgot the 10.
If we talking Pokemon, Sam is Psyduck, bro.
Bro.
I wish I knew.
$4.99 for Ryan's reaction. He said Thibodeau calling for Brunson to draw more fouls lets you know everything you need to know. Damn.
After getting
I kind of like that
more
point.
free throws, doubling up Cade free throw attempts in the first game, him crying already, that's a tactic. What I hear from the Pistons, we have to be better.
Yep.
We didn't play up to our standard. But to hear Tibbs, and he looked uncomfortable the entire game. The entire game.
He knows he's a man potentially on the way out.
Yeah, and he knows the other team is more physical than his.
You can't lose this series if you're Tibbs, especially after last year.
No, you can't.
You really can't. They made how many investments? They mortgaged their future for this. This was supposed to be a season in which they had an opportunity to be championship contenders, and it doesn't look like they're fit for the challenge. And you look at their lack of depth. You look at the fact that the people that they had to rely on game one are not the people that they really, really, really relied on all season. And this is where you start to realize the Pistons just handle business, man.
Yeah, and it's the fact that they have solid bench players, but they don't use them. The theory that Tibbs runs his players down is once again true in this aspect. A lot of these players have played heavy minutes all season long, and when it comes time for the playoffs and you playing a team this physical like the Pistons, it's gonna show.
Because K put them on their heels right out the gate.
Exactly.
What are you gonna do? If the Pistons are winning the game the whole time, you're going to your bench?
Yeah,
that was the problem.
You're
if
not.
the Pistons go and they put them back on their heels again, it's going to force Tibbs to do what? You're going to have to what? You're going to be putting in more Campaign and Mitchell Robinson over Mikal Bridges?
And hope for a good shooting night. Like, no.
That's what I'm saying. This is a chess match that JB Bickerstaff can really win if he dictates this game to the tune that we saw in game 2.
And Tibbs knows that. You can see it when he's on the sideline. Like I said, he knows that the other team is physical, more physical than his team, and he don't got a lot of answers, bro. He don't. So it is what it is, bro. But Tibbs might be on his way out of town if he don't get this done. So.
Oh, man. I see Dante151. He said Tibbs is a known playoff choker, and to be fair on this side, for JB Bickerstaff, we want to see him take that next step as it relates to strategy. Putting your team in position to overcome, putting your team in position to be able to, despite any of the adversity, they have to be the team. Like he said, if you're going to push this thing close to the line, you're not going to go over the edge, but you'll force the other team to go out of character. He said that we are this way. This is our identity. It's not how these other teams play, and we saw it play out to their favor. But
absolutely,
let's rock JB Smooth.
All right, sure. Let's get into it.
Word to Loom, jars, cannabis, Mad Packs, all of it.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
It's the last real TD champion, my boy, JB Smooth.
I don't think your mic was okay, G, but I think you're good. I appreciate you, my guy. Man, what's going on, everybody? I know we're coming off this huge Pistons and Tigers win yesterday as well, too. And KG, when we get to Vegas, we definitely got to try this out. I don't know if this is genius or just a bad way to lose your money very, very quickly.
Wait.
I mean, it's efficient. I'll say that. The efficiency rate is up.
Do they have these where we can pick those up somewhere?
I'm just saying, I think this would be sweet if we just can we
Mario Kart around the casino?
Bro, we can't do that, bro. Don't. I mean, the Woo crew on hover rounds the whole time in Vegas, bro. Like,
hoverboards around Vegas.
We too immature for that shit.
We might have to go super chat live on that one, man.
Right? Just rolling through the casino.
Who you think will win? Who you think will win though? Who'd you put your money on?
What?
If we did this, if we Mario Karted these things all through a Vegas casino.
Oh, that's me all day, bro.
Come on,
I'm
bro.
told, bro. What do you mean? Bro. I'm told I'm the fastest cart, bro.
Man, you know how I'll drift in these mugs? Come on, dog.
Man, come on. You'll fall out that goddamn chair so fast.
I got my money on Chase.
You said your money's on Chase?
My money's on Chase.
Oh, snap.
I'm saying that's just a good idea that we can have when we're sitting out there in Vegas. Now, I got to give you guys the latest on all these food that seems to just drop out of nowhere. Louis Vuitton is dropping a Nutella jar for $1,500.
Come on, bro.
A jar?
This is a jar of Nutella for $1,500. Very special hazelnut spread out here that you can only get at 2 stores.
And the sad part is the culture gonna be buying shit like this and flashing it on like TikTok and shit. Look, bro, look, I'm stunting, bro. My Nutella even. Fuck it, like, come on, man. we don't need it. We don't need it.
$1,500 Nutella.
People are going to buy this though. Make no mistake.
It's
Louis
exclusive.
V Nutella.
It's exclusive.
I like Louis V as much as the next guy.
And they got the nerve to put it in the box that they put their clutches and their purses into. That's
does the
crazy.
Nutella taste better than regular poor people Nutella? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm
Like,
pretty sure
if it's
it
the
just
shit I'm
tastes the
getting from Kroger, then I'm not buying it. But if it's a step above, I might look into it.
I'm pretty sure it's just the same shit. Just
$1,500
in a
for
Louis V
Nutella.
bottle. That's about it.
That's crazy.
That shit better have crack cocaine in it.
Jeez. Kool-Aid, you are our resident dad on the show, so I gotta
What up,
ask
though?
you this question because you said earlier you got 4 of them things. Do kids really care about germs?
No, they don't. And it scares the heck out of me, bro. They do not understand it at all. They don't care. I
Well-
be grabbing, snatching my kids up like, stop. Like, do you know what you're doing to yourself? They're looking at me like, quit tripping.
Right?
Well, I'm gonna need you to get this little girl out of wherever she's at right now.
Wait. Oh, no.
That is gum off the back of
Get
a
your
chair.
daughter, man.
Oh.
Get your daughter, bro. Look at the white parent. I ain't paying attention.
I'm so mad
That is gum
that
on the
somebody's
back of a
recording
chair.
this. Like,
Your daughter is eating chewed gum from the back of a chair.
you know what? My man, whoever's recording, made a decision because he knows. You got to know whoever this kid's parents is, man. He was like, I can tell the parents or I can record her doing this.
Which is nuts, bro.
This is crazy.
Kool-Aid, is our parents letting us do this shit?
No.
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 I'm just saying.
What the heck?
Flannel, are you doing this?
Gum off the back
No,
of a chair.
no, I'm not.
That is crazy.
Would you
Get
have done
your
this as a
fucking
child, Flannel?
I don't think so.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't. I'd like to think that I would do it.
Oh, she probably swallowed it too. Oh my God.
Just terrible. Just terrible. Where are the parents? Once again, and finally, I will end what's trending with this. Another tough guy in training. This is an instant regret as soon as I seen it.
All right, dumbbells. All right, a little heavy, but you can't stop spotting your man's though. He just stopped. He thought he had it.
I thought you was going to help me with the next one. The
Right.
next set. Oh, man. Once again, I believe he deserves a tough guy in training t-shirt, but that's just me. But that's it for what's trending, you guys. Let's hop into a little bit of mailbag while we got some time.
Hey, let's hop into mailbag. Let's hear again from our friends from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. Shout out to Feldman Chevrolet of Novi for sponsoring our Feldman mailbag segment and get those questions into the chats.
Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet Dealer of the Year for 6 consecutive years. They've got deals of the month. You can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew for $199 a month. You can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
Oh, man. And you know what? Just early feels for Game 3. I do believe Cade Cunningham is going to go off and have another big game against the New York Knicks, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling very confident in that as well. Big game, Cade. I expect, you know what? I'm going to go, he has a double-double, but this time points and assists.
I see Charles McClain, #Feldman Mailbag, named 2 Lions players that are on the roster right now that won't be after training camp or the draft. I'm saying Hooker and Skipper, as I think Lions go O-line at 28 and late round quarterback. Ooh, interesting one.
That's, I'm so in Pistons mode today, dude, that like I can't even think about that right now. Sorry, Charles McClain, but I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
Yeah.
Anybody but Hendon Hooker.
What about you, JB Smooth? Anything voice of reason or KG on this one?
What's the question?
He was wondering who do you believe won't be here, who's currently on the roster after the draft or after training camp, and he believes Hendon Hooker and Dan Skimper, what the Lions go O-line at 28 and backup quarterback in the late round.
I doubt they get rid of Dan Skipper. That's just my opinion. But Hendon Hooker, I mean, I don't think they will, but I can't sit here and say I can't see a scenario in which it doesn't happen at this point.
Yeah, and I'm looking at here now, the people getting a mailbag questions in. Shad 216 Feldman mailbag. When Pistons win the series in Game 5, should we expect Kool-Aid starting lineup to be completed? You know what? All right, Vincent E. #Feldman mailbag. Kool-Aid, how excited are you to cover a Pistons playoff home game? I don't think you guys understand how much this one hits differently right now. This is crazy, especially when you look at the previous 3 or 4 seasons covering this team. It was a lot of dark days. And Rob Beard and I, we had a lot of times when we joked about this and the fact that neither one of us to that point had really covered too much hope. But we did believe that this was going to be a team built around Cade Cunningham that eventually got it right. And so to be able to see this now, it's awesome to see, especially for these young players and the vets. JB Bickerstaff said it. These guys, they fit this DNA. They've all been through some stuff. They've been some cast-offs in terms of the vets and him. And so to be able to see this going on right here, the same ways that we've seen a lot of our other teams win, it feels reminiscent and it feels special. And that's why I want to see them at least go out there and continue on this precipice right now. The series is in their control, and I can't wait. I can't wait to do this, man. This has been an epic season. Epic season.
Oh, yeah.
IT Hips, hashtag Feldman Mailbag. What do you think about Albert Breer's comments about J-Mo possibly getting traded?
I think we'll probably save that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And do that more in depth because we would have done it today, but the Pistons rightfully hijacked everything.
Hey, let me see here. Pistons fan and Indy mailbag. Any word on Stu? I haven't gotten any word on Stu yet. I do believe that the Pistons are being very, 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 very cautious. They believe in the makeup of their team and what they can do. And if Stu's knee is inflamed, you want to be able to make sure that he's right for the later stages of the series, especially if you have an opportunity to close this thing out. But I think that's a show. Well, you know what? One more here. Dante151, hashtag Feldman Mailbag. This for our Woodward ringside crew. KG and JB. So Randy Orton versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship again, and Pat McAfee versus Gunther.
Yeah, the Gunther Pat McAfee shit is a little crazy, but overall, I think Randy Orton is the best opponent that you can have coming out the gate for John Cena. Randy Orton's not really doing anything. He had his WrestleMania match against Joe Hendry, which, all respect to Joe Hendry, I love him. I just didn't think that was going to be his opponent. But overall, Randy Orton's not doing nothing right now. He said he was coming for the title, and this is the perfect first opponent for Cena.
I gotta agree as well too. I mean, if Cena's gonna retire, if he said he's only got 27 dates left, I mean, run it back and give us a hits once again with all his opponents.
That's exactly what it is. You gonna see John Cena's greatest hits at this point. So he's gonna go against CM Punk. He's gonna go against Randy. All the people that he's feuded with throughout the years at this point.
Oh man, is that a show?
Yeah.
What a victory show was. Double victory show. Actually, Pistons and Tigers who got that 6-4 victory over what the NL leading San Diego Padres. And this was one that I wanted to see. Hey, can the Tigers get there, be in first place, have a chance to really change the narrative amongst MLB circles? Are the Tigers just an upstart? No, they're just handling business again. So,
especially if this offense continues, they just continue to impress me, man. They really do.
Goodness gracious, man. Let's get that test pass going. Hey, let's rock, man. Hey, chat family, thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for being here celebrating this Detroit Pistons win, the first playoff win. It was the longest win streak, 15 games in a row, going back to 2007, 2008, since the last time the Detroit Pistons won a playoff game. There was a lot of sweeps in there, man. A lot of sweeps along the way, but the Detroit Pistons are proving they have different plans this year against the New York Knicks, a team they've had some success against. But shout out to our brother Matthew Broder, that dude Justin, Kavasi Chase is in the building working tough. In this elite booth, I can't say enough about you guys. Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth, that is KG. Rookie there, MVP. What up, though, brother?
Hey, appreciate that. Look at First Take trying to cope. Is game 2 more about Cat or Cade?
Like, my God.
Come on, bro.
Me?
Just give Cade his fucking credit. But shout out to everybody that joined us today. I picked a great day to come back to work. April in the D, Detroit stand up. Make sure y'all get out to game 3 and welcome the boys home the right way, man. It's going to be electric. But yeah, shout out to my team. I love y'all. Let's keep the shit rolling.
Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth, JB Smooth on a Tuesday, boy. What up, though, man?
On a T-Tots Tuesday, a Victory Tuesday as well, too. Hey. Shout out to everyone staying tapped in with us today. I mean, it was a great show. What you said, Victory Tuesday, once again, as KG said, Thursday, big night. You got the draft, and you got the Pistons home game down at LCA. Be ready to cheer on these boys, man. They need everything out of you for game 3.
Hey, and the Veteran Squad, the Veteran Network, Red Wings correspondent, all ball Norwood. That is one Flannel Sam. What up, though, brother?
Hey, go Pistons, Tigers. Get yourself a series win tonight.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
It's your boy Brandon Dan, AK, Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Man, this I don't even know what this feeling is, but I want more of it. So Detroit Pistons, Hey, keep that pedal to the metal, man, and continue to force the issue as it relates to pace, physicality, and overall just being the aggressor. Detroit Pistons in 7. I know there's some people who've updated at the 5 or 6, but I know we're going to break this down a little bit more as we go, man. It's been a show. Smash that like button. It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporting right for the network. It's been Wake Up Woodward. Have a blessed day, everybody.